Hey, my friend. It is February 10th, 2025. We are diving into this week's Sidereal Astrology forecast. Danny Simuni's here. If you are new here, hi, welcome to the Cosmic Mystic. I'm so blessed and honored for your presence in choosing to watch this video all about what is happening in our sky. We've got the sun changing zodiac signs. We've got our full moon. We've got the first sightings of Mercury going retrograde and just a few other things that I want to share with you today. So let's get ready to dive on in. If you are new here and did not know, we absolutely have this not only here on YouTube, but also on our podcast, the Cosmic Mystic Podcast. You can catch it on all of your favorite platforms. So you just want to listen to everything that I'm talking about today, then you can go ahead and head on over there. You'll find the link down in the description box. If you're listening to this and you're like, wait, there's a YouTube channel, I can see the charts. Yes, my friend, come on over to the YouTube channel, The Cosmic Mystic, and you can find all of these beautiful videos where we get to see all the things and you get to see me and we get to have a conversation and all the good stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in with our state of the planets. My favorite thing to do to start off all of these forecasts. So we kick off, as you can see right up here, we've got our Sun and Mercury at 28 degrees Capricorn, which means our Sun and Mercury are conjunct. They've been conjunct for a bit as Mercury's been coming in and getting closer to Mercury. We've also got Pluto over here in Capricorn, 8 degrees. We come down over here. Our moon is preparing for full moon in that opposition to the sun here, currently in Cancer. We've got Mars retrograde still in Gemini. We've got Jupiter over here in Taurus. We've got Uranus at 29 degrees Aries. We've got Chiron in Pisces, Venus in Pisces, Neptune in Pisces, and these guys are beginning their conjunction. Actually, they're ending their conjunction. And then we've got our North Node in Pisces, our South Node in Virgo, and our Saturn hanging out in Aquarius. Now, there is going to be quite a lineup of energy here in Pisces as we move through the first part of this year. We'll see that coming in very, very soon, but you'll start to see these guys are starting to align. All right, let's go ahead and begin with our Sun. Now, I did talk about this conjunction I've been talking about it in our past Sidereal Astrology forecast, plus our February overview. What month are we in? Yes, it is February. I talked about this in the February overview as well. But when we talk about any conjunction, just keep this in mind, friends, that it is talking about these two energies together. They are hanging out together. They are, you'd like to say, I like to think of it as they're in a house together. Like I just spent a week with some really amazing ladies and we were sharing space. And what do you think happens when you share space? You start to influence each other, right? We would have these evening chats about, what we were doing while we were there, what we were doing, but then also about each other and sharing like things that we were challenged with and how we could support each other, right? They were really supporting each other and influencing each other. And this is what happens when we have a conjunction, when we're in the same house, when we're hanging out together. That's what seems to happen. So these two energies are influencing each other. So the sun being that consciousness and Mercury being that thinking, that processing of information, the communication, those kind of hanging out together. You probably have been having lots of thoughts and having really cool ideas and really cool insights. That is what happens when we have Mercury conjunct our sun. All right, let's go ahead and move on because we've talked about a few of these already in the past couple of weeks. We've got this sextile over here to Chiron, which is falling off this week, and this square over here with Uranus. Now, I do want to talk about the sun moving into right here, Aquarius. So the sun is moving out of Capricorn and we're moving into Aquarius. So a lot of the focus and energy of last month was around, or the last season, let's just say, was around foundations, really bringing in that stability, that foundation, goal setting, and really setting up that strategic plan for how you're wanting to achieve those goals that you're setting for the year. Really getting that foundation in. That's why I always host our annual retreat during Capricorn season, because it's really that energy for setting that solid foundation for this new year. Now, we move out of that and we move into Aquarius. So Aquarius is an air sign. It is an air element. And when we think of the air element, there is a lot of movement of ideas, of thoughts, right? The air energy rules over that thinking, ideas, processing. And if you think of air, right, it moves, it's moving. And so that is one of the big reasons why we're going to see even more ideas come through and really some out of the box thinking. Aquarius is known. It is ruled by the planet Uranus, which is the rebel planet. It's the planet that does things on its own terms, in its own ways. In fact, it rotates on its belly, unlike any other planet. It thinks outside of the box. And so with Aquarius coming in, this is really an opportunity for us to think outside of the box, to really step into the authenticity of who we are. Do you think that Uranus is sitting here saying, well, I really shouldn't rotate on my belly. What are other people thinking about rotating on my belly? Should I go like everybody else? Like, no, Uranus is not thinking that. Aquarius is not thinking that. Aquarius is thinking, what is authentic to me? How can I express that more? How can I involve all the people, right? Aquarius is a visionary that thinks outside of the box. So where Sagittarius is that visionary in exploring new territories, new approaches, Aquarius has the vision of what those things are and how to move us forward and how to see things that many of us can't see, right? Aquarius is so visionary that we're like, that will never happen, right? I saw this meme this past week about the Jetsons. Do y'all remember the Jetsons? I used to love the Jetsons. And it was talking about how the Jetsons showed us Zoom meetings, right? And it was like this little image of George having a conversation through video with his boss. And then there was, the robot that would vacuum on its own, right? It was like the beginnings of those things. And that was foretelling the future. And when we saw that, it's like, that was cool. But we were not like flying, like we were going to live up in the sky and we were going to fly to work, right? That wasn't that, even right now, if you think about that, like that doesn't, like it seems like possible, but not really, right? It's like, that would be cool, but I don't think that's going to happen, right? Like there's a lot of that. I don't know about that. And that's what Aquarius is really here to do. It's really to help us move forward into these bigger vision, into these bigger ideas. So you can use this energy to embrace new ways of doing things that are maybe a little bit more outside of the box, more unconventional than maybe you normally have done. It's encouraging us to break free from some of the structures that maybe we've put into our business or into our life and really bring in freshness. And so when I say this, I'm not only talking about just like some strategies in your business, but also the strategies within your life, in your relationships. Maybe there's a fresh new energy that needs to be brought in to shake things up in your relationships, in your partnerships, in your messaging, in the way that you're doing something. There's also the really beautiful energy of community and collaboration that comes through with Aquarius. Aquarius is like, it wants everybody. It doesn't want to leave anybody behind. It wants everybody to feel included and seen. So it's going to be a great time to connect, to network, to be around people who are similar and different. Like, it's so interesting when you are in rooms with people who have had different experiences than you have, and they talk about situations like, wow, I had never thought of that. This is why they say the rooms that you are in are so important. The 5 people that you hang around with influence you tremendously. And so if you're somebody who has been around the same people year after year after year, it doesn't say, I'm not saying that you have to leave them. What I'm saying is, go and mix in other circles, go and mix in other places, venture out into new environments, because you'll start to think differently. You'll be influenced in a way. And so if this is a room that feels really good to you, it is uplifting you and is helping you grow and expand, awesome. If it's a room that is not quite that, maybe something where it's making you feel small or unnecessary or something else, then maybe that's not the room for you. But this is the opportunity to go out and explore and see something different. The other thing is authenticity. So Aries thrives on being different, This is your time to fully embrace what makes you unique, what makes you who you are on a soul level, on a deeper level, not who society told you needed to be, not who society wants you to be, but who you truly are, right? Just because you're a little bit more quiet in your tone doesn't mean that what you say isn't powerful and what you say isn't meant to be heard by millions. It's the way that you choose to say it, right? Some people are very loud and very big energy, and that's the way that they show up. And that is fantastic for them, right? For them to come in that way, that's their authenticity. Now, we want to lean into what is most authentic to us. And sometimes there are some things that get in our way. So this is the opportunity to, okay, if I am wanting to express myself more authentically, what is getting in my way of doing that? What is getting in my way of also thinking that this way is going to work? What if I allowed myself to think of this differently? So there are lots of things that we are going to talk about more about Aquarius season, but this is really an opportunity for you to rethink some things and allow a new approach to come forward in whatever it might be that you're doing. We'll talk more about Aquarius in our Aquarius podcast episode coming out later this week, so stay tuned for that. All right, let's talk about our full moon and where the moon's going to be this week, because we've got some things happening. So let me come over here to our full moon right here, taking place on the 12th, 7:52 a.m. Central Time. And you can see that it is in Cancer. Originally, when I looked this up, it was in Leo, but then I went back because I was like, something doesn't feel right. And as I did that, I started to realize that it actually wasn't in Leo, that it actually was in Cancer. So it is in Cancer. So let's talk about, first off, a full moon in Cancer, because a full moon in Cancer, there's a lot of emotional energy because we have I just realized I probably am not sharing my screen. There we go. Yes, my friend, these are not edited. They are one take, one shot. All right. So we've got our full moon here at 7:53 a.m. on February 12th, Central Time, 29 degrees Cancer in opposition to 29 degrees Capricorn. So emotional energy here is what we see with Cancer. Cancer is ruled by the moon. So there's a lot of emotions that we're going to see with this particular full moon. It is an opportunity for healing. It is an opportunity for us to bring forward emotions that are ready to be felt, that are ready to be brought to the forefront, so to speak. So let's talk a little bit about some of the influence that we see here with some of these other planets, because as I said, just as I talked about the idea of living in the same house, right? That conjunction energy, there's similar to the opposition, to the trine, and to the square. And so we can have with this over here, this first one, which is a square over here to Uranus. Now, the square to Uranus is going to bring up that battle of wanting to step outside of the box, wanting to see something different, wanting to go about this in a different way. It also brings a little bit of that logic in, where sometimes emotion can really run wild, and we actually sometimes need to bring that logic in to not get lost too much in the emotion. And so there's a little bit of a battle whenever we're talking about a square, in most cases. And in this particular case, it is us wanting to stretch beyond what has been the norm, or what has been the past, even in many cases. I'm also going to bring that in here, this past idea with Chiron. This trine over here to Chiron, although the trine is a very supportive energy, because these are both water elements. That's when we're dealing with the trine, we're dealing with another similar zodiac sign, or another similar element. In this case, it's water. And so the Pisces water energy with Chiron, for one, Pisces is ending energy. So it's things that are coming to an end from our past. Well, in order for things to come to an end, it has to be within our consciousness. It has to be within our ideas and our thoughts. So that would lead me to say that there's probably some past things that have been coming forward in the past couple of weeks, things that are wanting to be brought forward, especially with the masculine energy, especially with things that are like from that idea of being very traditional in a sense. Those things are coming forward so that we can bring these to an end, that we can move through these and choose something different now. And coming from a very empowered place, both emotionally, and because we're talking about the Capricorn energy as this new way of moving forward. Now, the opposition over here with Mercury, this is also bringing in the thoughts and the thinking patterns, the loops of thought in which we perceive this situation. And because it is an Aquarius, we're looking at this from a different lens. We're looking at this from a different way, a different approach. And so looking at your past, coming from a very empowering place so that you can move forward. This is what I would say would be ideal during this particular full moon. Now, there's a couple of different ways that we can look at this from business and also from a self-mastery, personal growth type standpoint. When we look at some of the major themes that I'm seeing here is more of trusting our guts in the decision-making process, more of feeling into this feels good, this feels right, this feels like the next best step. Cancer moons often enhance our intuitive ideas, and especially with that trine to Pisces, even more so. So really allowing us to sense things, to feel into things that maybe stuck within the body, maybe stuck within our energy fields. There's also the energy around innovation, and innovation in the way that we are working through some of the challenges that we may have because of that Uranus energy, wanting to really think outside of the box, really having new perceptions and new ideas coming through. Chiron really building that emotional resiliency here, acknowledging the past for its wisdom, for its strength in whatever that may be. You know, sometimes I look at some of the things that have transpired in my past, and for a long time I was like, you know, how could I be that person, or how could I allow those things to happen? And now I look at them and I'm like, wow, that was so interesting that I went through that and I experienced that, because it gives me such a different perspective on some of the things that I may be going through now, and has built up some strength and resiliency that I might not have had I gone through those. The other thing is going to be that I'm going to say with this particular full moon is leveraging that Mercury Sun conjunction here for communication and authority. Because we're talking about this Capricorn energy and this visionary, we're finding ways to really blend that visionary thinking with more practical implementation. Capricorn is so known for its practicality and making things very practical, that we have this ability right here to take these things that may be coming forward and move forward in a very strategic, practical way. So I'm going to say, my friend, with this full moon, allow yourself to move through, to let go, to release anything that is still lingering from something that has troubled you in your past, or something that has come forward, whether that's involving another person, another time in your life, working with your own version of yourself from that past experience. And also, as you move forward, there is this really beautiful opportunity for you to say, like, this is the way that I'm choosing to now show up. This is the way that I'm choosing to now tell this story. This is a way that I now choose to move forward in this space and time. So, my friend, I'm really excited for this full moon and all that is going to be bringing us. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at where else the moon is going to be this week, because we do have the moon moving through that Cancer energy through Wednesday, and then we will see it move out and into Leo coming in on Thursday. And we'll see it all the way through about Friday evening. And then it will move into Virgo. So we'll see Virgo Friday evening and all the way through Sunday. Now, Leo energy is that fire energy. So we're going to see that very fire lit under our butts energy, really wanting to step out and be more visible, lead, and really playful energy here. This is always a good time, as I say, to make sales, to invite somebody into something that you are doing, to lead people to something. And then with Virgo, we're looking about getting our systems and structures and processes in together, perfecting something. So if there's something that you've been wanting to get into, wanting to work on, wanting to do, this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is going to be great to do that. Like, getting those systems in your home so that you don't have to think of things. I've been listening to Amy Landino before she was Amy Landino, for years. And when I first started in entrepreneurship, and I love her channel. And one of the things that she just had a video come out about the 10 habits to do every single day, or to a mix of these things in your life. And they're very simple things that we can do, but they make such a big impact. And that's what Virgo is here to do, is like, let's do this one simple thing where I always know where my keys are, so I don't go crazy looking for my keys, right? Something to consider there. And then now let's move into Mercury, because we do have a couple of things happening with Mercury that I do want to point out. And that first one being this Mercury shadow period. So on the 12th, we are going to see Mercury move into the preliminary stages here of our first Mercury retrograde in 2025. So right here, you'll see Mercury is beginning its movement through Aquarius. And so it is beginning the Mercury retrograde shadow period. So what does that mean? What is the shadow period? The shadow period is the time where we start to prepare for Mercury retrograde. Because with a Mercury retrograde, what we see is a movement which appears from our place here on Earth as if Mercury is moving backwards. It's not moving forward, it's moving backward. And so it moves backward into this place that it was before. And that place that it was before was that pre-shadow period. And then what will happen is once it starts to move forward again, it's going to move forward through that space again in the post-shadow period. I've talked about this. I think I have a whole podcast episode that you can find on the podcast. I'll make sure to put a link below. But what happens is it's going to go backwards through this space. Then it's going to come forward through the space. It's going to go backward through that space. Then it's going to come forward through that space again. So it's going to hit that space. I'm using this idea of space for the next, 8 to 9 weeks. And so it's starting to begin that initial pass through that space. And so this is a time that I always tell people, pay attention to what's happening now. Pay attention to what is happening now, because this is foresight into things that you may want to explore during the actual retrograde period. It's going to bring some of these things up and you're like, wait, what is happening? Because we are talking about Aquarius here, the Mercury is currently in Aquarius. This is going to bring some unexpected things, some like radical things that you're like, what the heck is going on? This is it, my friend. Okay, so let me go back and share my screen again for you. And you will see we begin this right here on the 12th, and this is going to go through the 15th of March. And that is when Mercury will go retrograde in Pisces. So it's going to move through Aquarius, come into Pisces, and then it's going to move back through Pisces, back through Aquarius before it makes its forward movement once again. So we're going to see this begin here, and you'll also see that Venus is retrograde at this time as well. So we're going to see some really beautiful retrograde energy begin to kick off this year right here in March. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the last thing, which is Venus. So let's come on back over here to the week here. We're going to move it forward to the 12th, and we're going to go over to Venus. Right here, we see a couple of things happening with Venus. So I have talked about this Venus and Pluto sextile bringing some hiddenness to things, especially relationships and money. And then over here, we now have this sextile over here to Jupiter. So let's talk about this because we're going to see this one for about a month. Now, Jupiter is the planet of growth, expansion, optimism. And so there is a lot of fun that comes here with Jupiter. So we're going to see a lot of social energy, a lot of like fun, wanting to have fun, wanting to feel good, and just be around good people, make new friends. So this, what I would say, is like a really warm and fun and happy type energy, very generous. And so one of the things that I would caution you here that can be a little bit challenging is a tendency towards excess, whether that's excess fun, excess spending, excess of, spending time with people and actually draining your energy. There's a tendency of wanting to say yes to all the things because you're wanting to do all the things, yet you can't to do all the things. And so I'm going to caution you here to be very careful about how you are moving forward through this energy over this next month. Great to get out and to have fun. Just make sure that you are ultimately taking care of yourself, that a no is a complete sentence. It is absolutely okay to say no to things that are going to drain your energy and to, have that feeling of like, I'm missing out on something. Yeah, you might be. And that's okay because for me, as a matter of fact, there's there's two things that I have been invited to go to, and I want to go to one of the things really badly, and I want to go to the other thing really badly. And so I'm torn at this moment to say yes to both. I don't know if I will say yes to either of them right now, but that's the thing is like, I want to do certain things, but I also have to keep in mind of how well I'm taking care of myself in what I have to do and how much energy I have. So my friend, those are the main things that I wanted to talk about for this week's Sidereal Astrology. Short and sweet, I hope, but really wanted to let you know about what was happening with that full moon in Cancer and our sun moving into Aquarius. There's more going to be coming out. We've got some more stuff coming out next week with our Sidereal Astrology forecast. Plus, we've got our Aquarius podcast episode coming out where we're going to talk all about Aquarius energy. We're going to dive into how to use this energy for self-mastery and how to use it in your business. All right, my friend, that wraps it up for this video. Have a great rest of your day. And remember, we are starting cosmic alignment next week on the 17th inside Sacred CEO. So if you have been thinking about, hey, I really need like all of this energy that's happening right now. I really need just a simple daily practice that I can do that can help me feel grounded, that can help me stay focused on what it is that I want to accomplish this year and to really like calm my nervous system. My friend, this is all that is in cosmic alignment. Plus we work on what it is that we want to manifest. We clear out energetic blocks that may be stopping us. We discover loops that we might be in and how to move through them and to take action, not to just sit and learn, but also moving through them. We have our daily support calls 3 times a week to actually go through our daily alignment practice together to support you. Plus, we've got all the things that are involved in Sacred CEO, like our monthly healing. This month is on the rebel energy. We also have our monthly planning sessions where we reflect, we release, and we align for our new month. We've got weekly office hours to get all of your questions answered around anything that you may be stuck with or challenged with that is stopping you from moving forward in your business and taking action towards the goals that you have, plus our weekly co-working sessions to make sure that we are focused and doing the things that matter most. My friend, I am so blessed and honored and would love to support you and be your guide this year inside Sacred CEO. The price of Sacred CEO is going up. I have already made that decision. And so this is the only time that you're going to get to join us at this price. So if you'd like to join us on this journey and have me as your guide using astrology, strategy, and soul Akashic records, then come join us inside Sacred CEO. You'll find a link down below. All right. Now, this wraps up our video. Have a great rest of your day, a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.